All right, music and computers. This is our final part of the project, composing our bass lines. So I have a chord progression. So I'm taking this from the G major scale, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. And I just want to set up 4 bars. So I'm going to set up a bar here, 2, 3, 4. And the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to pick my notes. So I'm going to go E, G, A, C. So hopefully you've already done this process twice and you have your 2 sections of your song. And you've gone through all the steps and modified your melody. You made the 2 notes go back and forth, and then you created some spaces and added some extra notes and tried those things. And it really is endless. If you take just those few ideas, none of you will have an identical song, and they'll all sound different, and they'll all sound good. And like I said, if they don't sound good, whichever note you think doesn't sound good, move it to the next adjacent note in your scale. So the first thing that we did when we came up with a bass line was we just did whole notes. So if I treat this like the bass clef, did a whole note on E, then we did a whole note on G, then we did a whole note on A, and then we did a whole note on C. And that was our starting point, just so we could hear that movement, and then we could figure out the 2 notes that worked with each sort of what we call tonal center. So even though we're in this key, at this moment we're centered around E, and at this moment we're centered around G. And that implies chord changes, which we'll get into for our final unit in June. But for right now, we're just going to deal with how to create this bass line. So one thing that we can do whatever notes we pick, that's what we want our bass to start with, so that it implies that sound and it works well with our melody. So the next thing that we can try is varying the rhythm. So I can just go through, and now I'm going to make 2 whole notes on each. I'm going to go to the lower A here, and then I'm going to do that again. So here I have 2 whole notes, half notes on each bar. So this is going to be slightly more interesting than this. And whole notes can be interesting depending on how you set up your synthesizer and what else is going on. It can create a lot of tension, it can create a lot of interest. But if that's all you're doing in the bass, you're really missing out on an interesting part of your music. So the next thing you do, and you'll actually hear this typically, is rhythmically, we're just going to create 4 quarter notes. And I'm going to demonstrate this in Audio Tool later, but I just wanted you to see it rhythmically. Sorry, I missed the A there. And then 4 C's. So this is just bass going bum, 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 bum. Just 4 quarter notes, steady kind of thing. So the next thing that we can see happening is in the bass, we're going to have steady 8th notes. So I'm going to have a group of steady 8th notes on my E. Then I'm going to go down for this G. Then up to my A, and then up to my C. Okay. And that's a little more interesting rhythmically, but melodically it's not very interesting. So what we can do to make things even more interesting is the first thing that we can do is we can alternate the octave. So if I take this E and then I can put it to the E below and just have that repeat and alternate. So it would do that octave thing, do dee do dee do dee do dee, or the opposite, dee do dee do dee do dee do. And I'm sure you've heard that in songs. I'm sure you're getting a chuckle out of my singing, but anyhow, so I would repeat that E G E G E G, and then so I'm just going to put a little repeat sign there, save some time. And then here I can have my my two G's, and then that would repeat, and then my two A's, and then that would repeat, and then my two C's, and that would repeat. And these things can repeat, like I said, up and down, or down and up. And then I'm still following this outline that we established earlier, E, G, A, C. And so after that, we can do what's called the fifth. And all that is I count up 5 letters. And it's part of the chord, and we'll get into chords next time. And the reason why bass players play the fifth a lot is because it outlines that tonal center, or that tone, like this idea here, this color that we've chosen for this moment. E defines it really well. And then 5 letters away from E, so E, F, or F sharp, G, A, B. So B is the 5th note away from E. So I can do this idea now. So I'm just going to do E, B, E, B, and I can repeat that. And then for G, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 5th would be a D. So now I can do that and just repeat that idea. And then A is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's going to give me the E. So A to E. And I can repeat that. And then C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is the G. So C to G. And I can repeat that.